this person that you've chosen to be next to you is the right person
To be, yeah.
It's not
in
somebody
all moments
who's gonna break you down,
Yes.
or somebody who's gonna leave when things are tough,
yeah.
or somebody who's gonna even betray you.
Yes.
Because when you are a money mindset type of person, business can be a dirty game sometimes as well.
Yes.
You know, money can even bring problems in your own marriage.
Absolutely.
In your own situation.
Yes.
You know, so that's why you have to be extreme. It's like choosing a business partner in a business.
Right.
You have to be also very strict.
Yes.
Who you choose to become your business partner. Because, hey, money, bro.
It's a problem, right? It can be a problem.
I don't want to say it's a problem.
It can be a problem.
Yes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you had one of the things that me now, as a young black male growing up.
I'm sorry, let me just come in there. Please hold that thought, don't forget it.
Yes.
Just to throw in a quick story, I was listening to Dr. Boyce Watkins. He's a YouTuber as well. He's an amazing professor. He's a mathematician. He talks about money all the time and investing in stocks. The other day he was talking about a story of, you know, the rapper who passed away, may so rest in peace, Eazy-E, from the rap group NWA. When Eazy-E passed on, I think, please don't quote me on this one, I think he had over 15 kids. I think about 17 kids.
17, I heard.
And the person that won, not custody, but the person that won permission through the court to be liable for his estate was his ex-wife. Well, his wife. Yeah. And then even the movie NWA, for it to happen,
it had to go through her.
Right, it had to go through her. Now, till today, she's okay with her children, but I can only imagine the other 17 or however many odd kids.
The other 14 kids, yeah.
But the kids that she had with this woman are secured because this woman is in charge of his estate. On the other hand, you've got a story which the same Dr. Boyce Watkins was talking about, the story of DMX, my favorite rapper, one of my favorite rappers, may so rest in peace, is my hero as well when it comes to hip hop. DMX did not have a will.
A will, yeah. And actually, on the Eazy-E story, he signed off his will on his deathbed.
On his deathbed, and nobody was around.
And nobody was around.
To come into the house, so you don't even know if that was legit or what happened.
You know what? That was leading up to my next question. Actually, what I was about to ask you was, if you, one of the things that as a young black man, that my society or my community has failed to teach me, is how to prepare if I had to get married, for example, or if you had to get married right now, would you get a prenup? Because in our community, it's saying there's sort of bias around it. You know, nobody want to talk about it. You don't want to think about it, but you know that things can also potentially go wrong, and then people might need to go separate ways for good or bad reasons.
Yeah.
Right. And what are your thoughts on that? If you had to end up getting married today, and you're a money mindset person, how would you approach it?
Mine is very simple, and my woman understands that when she comes into the party, because of where I already am, I'm a 42-year-old grown man who's been working all these years.
Yes.
I'm assuming I'm probably going to marry somebody between the ages of 25 and maybe early 30s.
Yes.
Maybe she'll be early 30s, maybe between 25 and, let me say between 25 and 35.
Right.
They have a career already.
Yes.
They're probably going to be bringing something onto the table, but I believe the most simplest way in how I'm going to handle it is to, number one, have a prenup, which I don't think it's going to be a problem with whoever I'm going to bring to the table. But number two, to start a family business with my business partner.
Yes.
Sorry, with my wife.
Right.
Because I'm not just going to be marrying somebody who's going to be swiping the credit cards away. He's not bringing anything to the table. I'm going to marry somebody who's at least going to bring brains onto the table.
Right.
Somebody who's going to come help these resources to grow.
Yes.
Because you know how blessed women are. Women, bro, you give her like a 1-2 bedroom apartment, she turns it into a home.
Yeah.
You give her a seed, she turns it into a beautiful baby.
Absolutely.
You give her just even 500 rands or like $100, she
Yeah.
turns it into groceries and some beautiful meal in the house, and it smells nice. That's what women were brought to do. Women are able to bring out that abundance, and this is also this is information that is in the Bible. That's how great women are. They give birth, they are motherly, they are nurturing, they are caring, and that's why when you choose that person to walk this path with, you have to choose the right person, because I believe that is going to be a what do they call it? That'll be a determiner between you winning, creating that generational wealth,
Yes.
and you failing to do so. It's this person. But when you do choose this person as well, make sure that on the other hand, you are there for them as well. You are growing them as well.
Right.
You're teaching them the business as well. You are plowing your vision on an ongoing basis to this person, because you must brainwash them.
Yeah, you have to
think
brainwash
exactly like you, so that you guys hold each other's hands. You guys both know where we're going, where you're going. You know. But I kind of believe marriage is essential. The family structure is essential. And I would like to encourage as many, especially brothers and sisters out there, anybody that is hustling, if you're a hustler, share with your family your journey, where you're going. Write down that will. You know, even your social media. The other day I was talking about people have got like 100,000 followers on their social media platforms, but it's not even in your will.
Yeah.
That's a business on its own.
Yeah.
Like imagine how many millions of people follow me on social media, and then I just die.
Yes.
I don't leave my passwords with any of my children.
Yes.
That's a business on its own.
And then it's gone.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So things like that need you to have a right partner next to you.
Right. Who you can trust.
Thank you, my
with
brother.
Everything else.
You've heard in the past as well how many people have been backstabbed or betrayed.
Yes.
By their people that they thought were their significant other.
Yes.
But then on the other hand, it's like you had brought a snake into
the house. Yeah, it's tricky. So I can understand why it's taking you time to really to really find the right person.
When it happens, I'm gonna be the most happiest man on earth. And people ask me sometimes, they're like, "How are you gonna know if they're the
right person?" Yeah,
it's gonna be very easy.
If it's either it's kind of binary, right? It's gonna be it's a 0 or 1. When it's not, you just know that it's not it.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So the next question here is South Africa can be a polarizing country, right? When it comes to race relations. But as you grow in business or in your career, you understand that it's quickly you're gonna jump into a place where you're gonna encounter so many different cultures and races and things like that. I mean, in the entire world, basically, right? Race is such a sensitive issue, and everybody has their own philosophy around it. But you now growing from someone who is you're from Tembisa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, from the township, now growing into the entertainment business, the corporate business. You're doing high-level multi-million business today. What mental framework did you put yourself into to be able to move in those kind of spaces?
That's a very good question.
Because what I have seen is that usually people have attitudes on both sides, right? From the get-go, which can sometimes make things difficult already. But then if you're traveling in different countries, you speak over there, you do business with other people, different cultures, you have now you sort of probably developed a new mindset about the whole thing that now you're able to maneuver without any problems.
Yeah, I think it is very, very important to have a mindset of a winner.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important to also surround yourself with people of that type of a similar mindset. They always call them like-minded people. Either people who are going somewhere with their lives as well, or people who are in the same journey as you. You're either studying the same course, or you're either in the same industry, or you're either studying the same business. Maybe they are your business partners. You have to be connected with like-minded people, right? Because this is the most important thing. As I was saying the other time, earlier, that when we were brought up, made an impact into the type of adults that we've become or that we're becoming. And there's so much misinformation that we've been fed that we need to unlearn and relearn some things and become better. But it's also very important for you to teach yourself as much as you can by reading what other successful people are doing, some of the different routines that they're doing to make themselves think better, to make themselves move better. I think in the hip hop language we call it move.
Move.
You move better when you know better, right? And one of the things that I've seen out of the people that I've interviewed, I've interviewed over 2,000-3,000 very successful people over the past 20 years in the career, in my radio and television career. And what I've seen is that most of them are people who as I did say earlier, family orientated, and it's people who read, bruh.
Yes.
Those people read.
Oh yeah, absolutely true.
Guys, you can't be calling yourself a person who's on the money mindset or who's on the hustle if you don't read.
Yeah.
You have to read, Gray.
That's right.
These people read, bruh.
Yes.
These people exchange books. These people give you a book for a gift. These people are all about reading.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's one thing that I have to emphasize, to say I've gotten this better myself because of reading. What reading does, you get to know better, but it also makes you do better even the way you move, because when you know better, if I know there's a speed trap over there,
Right.
I'm gonna drive differently.
Yes.
You know, if I know that it's burning on the other side of the corner, I know how to move when I turn around, right? Because I've got knowledge. You know better, you know more, you do better. And a lot of the mistakes that I've done in the past was of my ignorance.
Yes.
Of being young and thinking I know it all.
Oh, yes.
Meanwhile, I was young and dumb and I thought I was sharp.
Right.
And I was cool and happening.
Yes.
But I did not know better. That's why you find older people are more calmer.
Yes.
You know, they are more... Sometimes we get irritated over old people. We're like, yeah, but why don't you just... But they act differently the way
exactly.
they move. It's because they know better.
Right.
And that's why they move better. That's why a lot of the times we discover later, oh... That's the reason why they acted that way.
Like that, yeah.
Oh, that's the reason why they made that decision. You know, so for you to work on that mindset requires you to read. But it doesn't only end with the reading part. It also goes with some of the routines or some of the things that you get to do on a daily basis to continuously fuel that positive energy. You know what I mean? To become better at handling your own clutter that is in here in your mind, because you always have clutter as well.
Absolutely.
There's voices and then when you listen to some of these successful people, Gray, they'll tell you, some of them will tell you, I don't watch TV. Some of them they'll tell you, I don't read the news.
Right.
Or some of them, you know, they tell you different things. Some of them tell you, I meditate. Some of them, I go hiking every Saturday mornings. Others tell you, no, I jog by the beach every morning. You know, they've got all sorts of different stories. And others, I've even heard people have got yoga, they've got snakes. You know, people have got different
weird things
that they do, right? Yeah. So it's up to you. What do you choose to do? Yeah.
That's a very good answer. Is that it's kind of like a self-development journey that you have to take to find who you really are. Because for someone to end up with inyoka, just because, you know, they had to go through it and then find something that they really like, that really means something to them. It might not be appealing. It's probably working. It might not be appealing.
Snake, by the way. Do you?
No.
Okay.
But I mean, if they came to that conclusion, whatever you have, whether you're meditating or you're going for a hike every weekend, it's probably you find something that works uniquely to yourself, other than what you think everybody else should be doing. But what I would like to emphasize on the point you made is I think what I can take on from that, you have to be smart at the end of the day. That's why you really need to read and learn things. And I think this point is really like is not really highlighted enough. When it comes to hustling, we tend to think sometimes that it's all about more energy, go hard, do it. But like, you really have to be smart to win in the world in a lot of ways, because, you know, we're competing against things that everybody wants, like money, for example. It's something that everybody around us is trying to get to the same thing. So it's good to, I mean, that's a very good answer, that, you know, reading seems like it has done a lot of good things to you.
And then there's other things that I do, Greg.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've seen, for example, I've seen, for example, you do some things that are uniquely to you. You do affirmations. I saw them on your laptop the other time.
Yes, sir.
I don't know anyone else in my personal life who does that, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's really good to know that, you know, you're most successful people that I've come across, that they have their own thing that they do.
Yes, sir. I do my affirmations to deal with my mindset.
Right.
I want my voice to keep hearing all the positivity all the time, so that it gets entrenched into my mind, and it affects my thinking. My thinking has to be positive at all times, so I have to fuel myself. And I choose to do them on the two most crucial times. The first thing when I wake up in the morning, when my mind is fresh, and the last thing when I go to bed. When I go to bed, it's the last thing I make my ears listen to. Repetitive affirmations are positive messages of how great I am, how capable I am, how awesome I am, how that which I'm trying to become, I already am. I convince myself, and I say it in the present tense as if I am already that.
Yes.
And I even record it in my own voice, that I put in earphones in my ear, and I sleep with my affirmations throughout the night in my ear.
Wow. That is weird, bro.
Yeah, bro, that's what I do. It has made such a significant difference in my life over the years.
Yeah.
Because even when you're asleep, bro, do you know that actually the brain is working?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever been asleep and you can still hear
what's going on
playing in the background?
Exactly.
When you're asleep.
Yes.
It's because the mind is awake.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes it's important to go to sleep with your positive affirmations, affirming to your ear over and over, because you might be asleep, but the subconscious mind is picking up all of those repetitive sounds.
Yeah.
That's a similar process they use when they hypnotize somebody.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They play with your mind. They give information or certain things they tell you to your ear to convince your subconscious mind of certain conditions, so that eventually you become unconscious or you get hypnotized into whatever they want you to become. So it's very important to hypnotize yourself positively, because if you don't, trust me, somebody's already doing it on your behalf. They're using the media. They're using the newspapers. Right now, they're using all these tech companies, all these social media platforms. They're using them already to brainwash you. So might as well just brainwash
yourself into whatever you want, right? Into whatever you want to achieve. Oh, that is very impressive. I've never tried affirmations. I don't think they would work on me. But it's interesting that, you figured that out. You had to really, you never learned that from childhood. It's something that you've had to learn. How did you came across affirmations?
It's because it's a simple thing, like listening to a song.
Yeah.
You listen to a song and say, I hate this song.
Yeah.
But because the radio keeps playing it over and over, you end up falling in love with it. Or you listen to a song, you don't like it, or you watch the music video, all of a sudden you start liking it.
Right.
Or you listen to an ad, or you hear, or maybe you hear something like, I'm loving it.
Yes.
You already know which brand
it
they're
is.
talking about.
Right.
That's part of brainwashing. For me to have product placement over here, this is part of brainwashing. Right? And that's what you do. You get on your phone, you scroll all the time, the whole day. You're driving in the streets, wherever you are, you're seeing billboards, you're watching TV, all of a sudden there's commercials coming in. Everybody is on a fight for your mind. When are you going to take first stand and say, I'm going to protect my mind, I'm going to protect it from all the negative garbage that is out there, and I'm going to be strict and choose what my mind consumes and what it listens to, because that has got a very big effect on the type of person you're going to become.
Right. So lastly, before we close, we've been speaking for almost an hour, and this has been an incredible conversation for me.
For me too.
And one thing that I've learned from studying successful people is that they're dangerous too, right?
Awesome.
Is that, they're able to keep this calmness to them and control themselves to be able to run things, but they're able to go out there and do the most ridiculous thing if it makes sense. Richard Branson is one of those guys. He do some crazy, ridiculous things. You're one of those guys. In one of your TV jobs, you ended, was it at I think it was an event, right, where you ended up promoting your own product.
It was an award show.
As an award show, you ended up promoting your own product when you shouldn't have, and then that created some level of controversy, but you at least put your brand out there, right? How long did it take you to think about that moment? And was it premeditated, or you just did it on the moment?
You've got a lot of South African entrepreneurs, actually African entrepreneurs, that are against the system. And in a lot of our countries, infrastructure and just how governments are in our continent in Africa, you find that a lot of entrepreneurs don't get support from their governments, right? And a lot of the policies in South Africa as we speak currently, we still have a lot of, over 1,000 policies from the apartheid government from back in the day, the previous regime. Those policies are still in place right now, and that's why you've got politicians fighting for all of that change in parliament. But I want to say that a lot of black children out there, black entrepreneurs, are not in a good position to be favored by the system. And why am I saying that? I'm saying that because we end up having to do whatever we have to do to succeed. And that's one of the things, or that's one of the mindsets. I was one of the people that have had that mindset till today, where what I want to achieve, this is what I want, I'm going to go for it, and nobody's going to stop me. What's going to change is how I maneuver and how I get there, but I do know that eventually I'm already there. Actually, in my mind, I'm already there. I'm already that which I want to become. I think about it all the time. I focus on it all the time. I think about it. I do the work all the time. I live that. I breathe that. I speak that. I dream that. I am that, right? And that's how I operate. I'm very diligent about what I say with conviction. I know him, and I'm just that. That's the type of person that I am, right? That's the type of person that I am, even in my hustle. So that's what had happened when it was I think it was 2015 Metro FM Music Awards. I was an afternoon drive show, weekend drive show at Metro FM. I was a DJ hosting one of the most successful radio shows in South Africa, And working at Metro FM, we were invited to give out awards, to present awards on the evening.
Yes.
But I knew that on the evening of that event, the event was live broadcasted to over 10 million people all over South Africa. So I knew that it was an opportunity for me to launch my brand.
Right.
Because at the time, this brand, nobody knew it. It was still new. I just started it. I was promoting it on events at my gigs where I used to go. But I saw that as an opportunity for me to tell the world about my new product. And then I did exactly that, and it got me fired.
Right.
So after losing my job...
I'm laughing like it's a good thing, but it's hilarious. It's really hilarious. I'll put the link in the description of this interview so that you can watch that video, right? It's still on YouTube somewhere. I've watched it multiple times.
So after losing my job, people would ask me, like, was it worth the risk? Or do you regret that you know, like even in America, all over the world, you've got people who've worked on mainstream media, that they've built themselves to be these brands, and either they get fired or they move outside of mainstream media. They either open YouTube platforms, or they open podcasts, or they open up their own business. I'm one of those people that had to go and do that.
Right.
And then subsequently, I moved on to go start 2 of my own radio stations. And shout out to the team that's doing great work at Massive Metro and at Homegrown Radio with all of our challenges. But shout out to all of you guys for holding it down. I never gave up. I believe still that in my brand, I'm still going to build this brand. I'm not giving up. But leading up to the actual moment, I thought about it and I thought, is it worth the risk? What if I get fired? Because that's the worst case scenario. I might get fired. Am I in a good position where if I get fired, I'm going to continue? I'm going to be able to pay my bills. What is it going to happen? So I thought about all those things.
Yes.
So there's something that was conscious. But at the back of my mind, I didn't think that I would get fired because I kind of felt I work at Metro. People go on stage all the time and they talk about international brands and it's normal.
Right.
I don't think I'm going to get fired, but I was wrong. I was very wrong.
So what was that moment? Walk me through that moment after you got fired. To you was like, wow, now I need to figure out what to do. Was it a hey, whoa moment? Or you were like, okay, I already had a plan of what I'm going to do. And also, what was the conversation with you and your boss at the time?
I think they suspended me immediately. And then,
immediately on the event?
So the event was on Saturday.
Yeah.
So Monday, they called me to the office to give me a letter of suspension. And then I was suspended for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, they called me in for a meeting. But in that meeting, there was no meeting. I was just being dismissed. I was being fired. And then I made the headline on the front of a newspaper. And they wrote, DJ Sbu, more fired.
Yeah, the guys who make the titles of these newspapers are so creative. They find a way to marry the words together all the time.
And then they showed me holding my cat on the front cover of the Sunday World like this.
But to some ways, it's exactly what you wanted.
It's exactly what I wanted. It's the controversy.
It's happening in a weird way, but it's still towards your goal.
People are talking about the brand.
Exactly.
Then you've got the country divided. You've got people who are supporting me, and then you've got people who are hammering on me and criticizing me and just, he was not supposed to do that. Who does he think he is? Yeah, let him go to hell. He's lost his job. Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? And what is that thing? Is that thing? It's a poison, but it's a lesson as well that you gotta plan, execute, and don't change your plan. Execute, and you'll change your decisions later, and then suffer the consequences later. But obviously, you have to make calculated risks. I always say to people, make calculated risks. Not just because it worked for me, it's gonna work for you too. Even for me at the time, it didn't work for me at the time. I got fired, I lost my job, I became a controversial figure in society, I got a lot of negative press, I got a lot of negative publicity. People changed, people were not taking my calls anymore, I was not on national TV, I even lost my TV job.
Because of the same moment?
Yeah, because you need to remember SABC Radio also owns Friends Like These.
Yeah.
Friends Like These is broadcasted on SABC 1.
Yes.
So they're both SABC platforms.
Oh, right.
So they fired me on radio. It couldn't make sense for them to keep me on TV.
On TV, absolutely.
So they also fired me on TV. And that was my favorite TV job.
Wow, yeah. That used to be a fun, yeah, it used to be cool. I used to watch it when you were there on Friends like These, yeah.
Ah, bro. Those were my days. Like, that was so awesome. But I always want to say to entrepreneurs and hustlers out there, you cannot expect to win today's game based on yesterday's goals.
Absolutely.
I can sit here and scream about how great I was as a musician, how many platinum albums I've sold. We made history. I was a good TV presenter. I used to be on Metro FM, but it doesn't help and it doesn't count now today.
Yes.
The question is, what are you doing now?
Right
and
on.
what I'm doing right now, I'm with people like Great Jabesi. We're talking digital finances. We're talking, we're podcasting, which is a new way of doing things. We're talking about other people who are in the money space as well. I'm building my brand. The last offer we've just said is of a good amount of money. The business is growing as well. The radio station is growing. We just keep it moving. I'm writing my 4th book as well. I'm recording another album as well. The moral of the story is, you can't stop the hustle. And I used to tweet things like, you can't stop my goal, because I'm not here for you. I'm not here to be stopped by anybody. I'm a conqueror. I'm a rise abover. I am a winner. And whoever's going to try and stop me, they might just delay me, but nobody's going to stop me except for my God. All the way to the top, that's where I'm going. That's always just been my mindset. It's always been my attitude all the way till today. And I've seen it spread out and inspire other people as well.
I mean, I'm one of those people.
Are you serious?
Yeah, look, I've been following you back in the day during the Zex days.
Are you serious?
Exactly, you know,
Wow.
just because for me, I was really fascinated about the entertainment industry at the beginning, but then eventually my mind shifted after I really studied it quite closely. I really studied the industry quite clinically. I was like, okay, my goal is to become wealthy, not necessarily popular and all that. And then I saw my friends who were trying to do the same things. They could either get the popularity without the money, and then it was also short-lived in most cases. But then I was looking at people like you who were doing things that are a little bit out of the norm, because for an entertainer, let's say musicians, that they drop an album, they make music videos. If the best maybe they could get is to just get an endorsement deal and then sell some merch. But you were really doing some, other things on the side, launching your own brand. So I was like, okay, this is really the types of things that I would want to be able to do, because I couldn't even see myself before you. I couldn't see myself launching an energy drink company or a product, Now that I know it's possible, I don't even have to think about it. I mean, I know that I can actually launch a brand like this because you have done it. That's what it meant to me on your success. So thank you for that. Thank you for that inspiration. It's one thing when it happens to other people do it, but if someone like you, exactly like you, does it, it's just like, okay, I guess I can do it too. Much like how Jay-Z inspired a lot of young people to actually come up with their own record labels right after Rockefeller and stuff like that. So thank you for that motivation. I appreciate it.
And thank you, brother.
No problem, man.
I'm very humbled. Guys, let's do this thing. It's our time now. Internet is on your side. Your time is now. You don't need any other time, and trust me, nobody's coming to save you. You have to save yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for listening. This was a long podcast, but that was exactly the point for all of us to get engaged. I've learned a ton of things in this podcast from the OG right here, bringing in the wisdom and the knowledge that we need to accumulate as much money as possible. So I hope you learned something. And remember, the website is TheMoney.Finance, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Share, like, and subscribe. Stay awesome.